Welcome to Joy Phido International. Now with Joy Phido International and with World of Braiding and Extensions, we are looking at so many different ways of working with what we do. And so the arm where we tend to empower you with personal development and encourage you to grow is going to be completely separated from Joy Phido International, and we're going to be breaking them down to you as time goes on. Because there's been so much inquiries and people are making questions, they want to know how they can help themselves. So we're going to cut this into an area where we call You're Born to Win. And so today's program is about being born to win. We are all born to win. So welcome on board, and my name is Joy Phido, and today we're going to be taking you through what we help you to do with your personal growth, and how you're able to support yourself, help yourself to achieve those things that you are looking for in life. Born to win, that's the main topic, and that's going to be what our new personal development side of our business is going to be called. But the main focus today on that Born to Win is going to be emphasizing on the fact that poverty in life is by choice. So poverty may be poverty in health, it may be poverty because you lack money, which is one of the biggest ones. It could be poverty for relationship. So you might have so much money and you can't relate to your children, you can't relate to your wife, you can't relate to your husband, you can't relate to your partner. That is poverty, but you're lacking something. So that's an area we want to delve in today. I know the major focus behind it is always money, but we're not wanting you to just fixate on just money because we've said poverty is by choice. We're saying poverty or lack is by choice, and in so many ways, so many different ways of our life, we lack things by choice. And that's what I want to explain to you today, so you start clearing the way you're looking at some of these things. Now, a major reason this really came to me, because you know I come around and I chat with you, these are things that come to my spirit. And so when they come to my spirit, being the kind of person I am, which we will again look at what kind of person you are, I have that spirit that loves to share. I mean, sometimes people look at me and say, why do you tell people so much? Why do you give your skill out so much? Why do you give so much knowledge out? If you came to work with me, get your hair done, 3/4 of the time, by the time you're done with me that day, you will be so enriched in your brain. Like, I never knew this, I never knew that. And people who work with me just know me for that. It's my nature to share, and that's why I love to share with you. And I've come to the understanding, again, because I read a lot, because I listen to a lot of CDs, and I am a naturally very curious person, so I get to have knowledge really quickly. And when I have it, boom, I have to share it. I have to let the next person know that this is what's going on. So that's why I come to you, because I hate when people lack. We really should not lack anything, and that's why I am clearly explaining today that it's by choice. And I'll tell you why I know that these things are by choice. So again, lack generally is not by race. So you don't lack because you're black, you're white, you're green, you're blue. You don't lack because it's genetic. I mean, you're going to hear so many stories. If you're one of those curious people like me, you see people like Oprah Winfrey. Her background is unbelievable. This is somebody whose parents died. This is somebody who, I think her great-grandparents were from the typical slavery time, and then, you know, she was raped at some time. She had so many things that were completely negative, that would typical human being would have given up at that stage and no interest in life. But look at who she has turned out to be. She's the richest woman the world knows, and she's black. So it's not genetic. When you look at people like us and we're thinking, oh, is it because I'm black, that's why I'm so poor? No, it's in our brain. We will look into all of that. So it's not genetic, it's not racial, it's not, what should I say, it's not based on your height, because you're so tall, that's why you're naturally wealthy or you have lots of money. There are lots of people who are very, very short and very, very wealthy. I mean, one of my favorite person is Danny DeVito. He is so short, but Danny DeVito is huge in the movie industry. So it's not based on your beauty. Lots of people fixated around how beautiful they are, and because they're so beautiful, they don't want to impact anything onto themselves. Now the funny thing about beauty is it dies out. Now look at the flowers out there in the garden, the rose and all of that. See how beautiful they are. But before you know it, they dry out because the weather has moved on, and so your lovely, beautiful rose tree disappears. That's what happens to beauty. And that's why you then see lots of people end up with, you know, plumping here and plumping there and going under the knife, and people die from that. So it's not down to any particular thing. And this is one of the things I say to my children as well. It's the spirit in you that makes who you are. So if you allow your spirit to do the job that it's been sent to do, you're going to find inner peace in you, and you're going to focus and achieve those things. And that's why when someone like me happily come and scream with you, and I'm sharing knowledge with you, that's who I am, and that's what gives me inner peace and excitement. The fact that I've been able to share something that is impacting on somebody's life, and so many times, uncountable million times. Because again, thanks to all the viewers we have so many people contacting us and thanking us and saying, you touched my life when you said this. When the minute you said that, you hit it on the head. So that's why we're here, to make sure we're contributing to your life. And that's my role. Now, everybody has a role. And what's going on is lots of us are forgetting our roles for the reasons I'm going to give you. And that's why we end up being so downbeat. That's why we end up at the bottom of the ladder of life. And that's the one thing I don't want to see. And that's why we keep coming back time upon time to keep reminding you about these things. That's why we have this personal development side of our business. So we've said it's not based on your language that you're poor. It's not based on your race that you're poor. It's not based on your age. Because you remember when Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, started, he was only 16. And all these teenagers who are experts on, celebrities and in Disney, they all started from maybe 4, maybe 5. They just had some burning spirit in them that says, this is what I want to be. So Michael Jackson started at the age of 6. So when you know that there's something inside you that wants to achieve something, this is where you go. You focus on that thing and chase that thing till you achieve it. So that's why it's important that you start looking into yourself and try and understand what's really holding you back. What is it that's holding you back? And so today's focus is going to explore 11 different major reasons that we know. 11 major, because I've been writing these things down and I've got up to 20. But for now, I'm going to give you 11 major ones that's going to make you start looking inwards and start helping yourself to pull yourself from where you are today to where you want to be. Because again, it excites me if I'm able to contribute to you, then you contribute to me. Contribute to me in the sense of, if you like what you're hearing, you're going to put your money down and say, I want to hear more. And that's why we're creating DVDs in the form of training. Now, time is coming, we'll create DVDs in this personal development side as well, where you can actually sit with yourself, put this CD on, not DVD, maybe CD or even DVD. You put it on, you sit with yourself, you listen to it over and over and over again. So things like that are going to be coming your way. But we constantly need support. We need support because just like I've said about food, you see how we eat every day. Every day we wake up, you remember, oh, it's 8 a.m. I haven't had my breakfast. Oh, it's 4 p.m. I haven't had my lunch. The same thing applies to our mind. If we don't constantly feed it with information, with knowledge, with skill, we tend to lag behind, and that's what's going on. So I'm going to give you 11 major things you should be looking at that will help you start pushing your life in the direction you want to be in. Okay, so number one on that list of the things that are really holding us down, the reason poverty is by choice is ignorance. Note it down, ignorance. Why is ignorance such a big thing? Now, this is really scary, but it's so true. We sit here, for instance, in the UK, giving skills and giving knowledge, and we get people asking us all kinds of questions. Now, I throw out things like, this is how you can care for your hair. And I put lots of products there sometimes, and I say, if you buy this product, if you buy that product. People still come back to me and say, where can I buy that product from? Now, luckily for the generation we live in now, there's something called internet, and there's something called Google. Now, if I've given you a name of something, all you have to do is go onto Google and type in that name, and then you give your location and say, where is the nearest place to me that I can get this from? That's ignorance. So if you don't want to seek knowledge and you just sit back and wait for somebody to bring knowledge into your house, and you don't curiously go out there and find things for yourself, you're going to be held back. And this is why it's really frustrating, especially in the Western world. Now, what's happening? Our children in particular, they just don't want to see any value in anything around them. But the funny thing is, for instance, government is putting a lot of money into programs. Lots of programs out there to help children gain skills, gain knowledge, support them. But the children would not look for this knowledge. Because when I was teaching with the council one time, they had so much investment in children program, and they took all the money away from the adult program. And I remember teachers complaining, why are we doing that? Because again, we know what our children are like. They are not interested at all. They haven't experienced what life is all about. They don't know what it means to be poor, to be unhappy, or to be hungry, or to lack. So for them, life just goes on. But for adults like us, we know all this. So we would normally expect the government to invest money into adult programs so that we can learn and then help ourselves. No, the government sees it as, that's the future. So let's invest in the future. But the children are not going out there looking for that knowledge. So if you don't go and seek things and find out things for yourself, why do you turn around and blame anyone for your situation? We had someone emailing us from Alaska and asking us here in the UK, what is the distance between Alaska and UK? Am I to sit on the internet and go and search that for that person? Then the question was, how were you thinking of traveling? Are you coming by air? Are you coming by ship? What mode of transportation do you want to take? That would then make me sit in a position where I can tell you how distant or what the distance is between point X and point Y. We have people sit next door to us here, say London for instance, and we have about 40-50 minutes from London, and people say to us, it's too far. And then I say to them, have you checked the distance yourself? And then they go, oh, actually it just sounded far. It sounded far. You never bothered to find out how far this place is, but it sounds far. So ignorance is a big problem, and that's why they say knowledge is power. When you're ignorant, you're sick. As far as I'm concerned, you're very, very sick. So come out of ignorance. Start seeking knowledge. Start going out there. There's Google, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's everything out there. You need to start looking for what you want. Anything you want, look for it. Just go out there and look for it. So number 2 is fear. So first we had ignorance stopping us from doing what we want, and now the next thing that then gets on that list is fear. Fear of what I don't know. But what if I did it and I don't get the result I'm looking for? What if somebody tries to stop me? What if? And when you are so afraid, you can't do anything. Now this is my little solution to you. See every human being as a human being just like you. So if you want to know anything, pick up that phone and phone them. Just phone and ask. Because they're not going to bite you. That's the worst case scenario. Are they going to beat me up? Are they going to bite me? Are they going to scream at me? If screaming will hurt you, then you'll be bothered. The worst that can happen is no, it cannot be done. That's the worst that could happen. So whenever fear wants to stop you from doing something, remind yourself, the only thing that could happen is they will say it's not possible. So put fear away from your mind. People want to go to school and they go, no, I can't do it because I really can't study that. Because you're not pushing yourself. We have it in us. We were all born with great expectations. This is the way life is. When you were born, there was a message that was implanted in you. Something was put in you that is so unique from everybody else. That's why we are all different. Even children from the same parents are different. Even twins, identical twins, have something unique about them. So you have some unique DNA in you that has been implanted there to help you navigate what we call life. Now, if you now allow fear around you, what will they say? What would they think? You want to wear something, you're bothered about what people will think. You want to sing. You want to stand on stage. What will people say? I know that's a big one because most people are scared of, public speaking. Yes, it's been well known. But you want to go out, you're scared. If people look at my dress, they are going to be. So what you've done is you've allowed yourself to live in other people's lives. Come out of it. Let fear completely come out of your life. Remind yourself constantly. Worst case scenario is they will say it's not possible. Then you can decide for yourself, is that true? Because there are so many instances where I have been told that's not possible and I find another way about it. Now, there's so many ways I deal with things. If I know this is it, I want to achieve this, I do my research. Because I'm the kind of person who simply don't like being torn down. That's me. If I know I'm going to be torn down, I will not do that thing. But that's because I haven't put myself in that position where I will be torn down. So if I know I haven't met the requirements to get into something, that's what I tend to do. I tend to find out what are the requirements for this thing. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do. It's like going for a job interview. You don't just send your application anywhere without knowing what they are expecting for that job. Or you want to go to a school, you want to study something, and you don't know what the requirements are, and then you just throw your letter in there and say, I want to apply for this course. So to save yourself embarrassment or fear, just find out first what is involved in this. And when they tell you what is involved in it, if you now say, okay, I want to do that thing, then you walk yourself around to meet those expectations. That's how you can overcome fear. So fear should not be what is stopping you. So if your fear was, I have a relationship with someone, but I don't know what he thinks of me, just sit with him and say, what do you really think of me? Worst case scenario, he's going to say, I don't have anything to say. But at least you would have asked. The same thing with money making. You want to make money. In what way do you want to make money? So questions you should be asking yourself is, how do I do this? Where can I find this? What do I need? So these 3 W's, where, what, how, when, things like that should help you to push yourself to the direction you want to go. Where can I find that? How do I do it? When can I do it? What is required? All of that will help you push fear away from your life. So we've dealt with ignorance, we've dealt with fear, and then we're going to look at what the next major issue is lack of investment in your self-development. Did you know this is the biggest thing you can do for yourself? Now, these are some of the things that are really coming to me, again, based on knowledge, based on reading lots of books, based on listening to cities. If a problem is happening in your life and you created this problem with this way of looking at things, which is your mindset, the only way you can solve that problem is to change that mindset. This is the way I see investment in yourself. If you have a car and the engine oil, the oil that goes into the engine is gone bad, you leave that oil in, you don't change it. Do you think that that car is going to move? It's just not going to move. It's going to stay in that position. That's the same thing with what's going on in our mind. If what's actually, because our mind is our biggest asset. I say to everyone, if you don't invest in your mind, you're wasting your time. Nothing's going to change in your life, because everything that we become, you wake up in the morning, you wear a dress, it's from your mind. Your mind has said to you, what if I wear the blue dress today? What if I wear the black dress today? And then your body responds to your mind. So the same thing applies. What if I take a training in XYZ? What if I take a trip to London? What if I take a trip to... I had one of my students who, when she came for training, she said, I had made up my mind a long time ago. All I was doing was to save money towards the trip. So that's what it's all about. It's that mind that needs attention. Your mind needs a lot of investment, a lot of education, a lot of knowledge put in there constantly. You know what they say, that know-how is the first thing you need. How did you achieve that? How did you know that? How did you fix that? That's what know-how is all about. And you're not going to know how if it's not in your mind. And this is why, for me, I would rather invest in my mind than do anything else. I made that mistake in my life, and that's why, again, I love to open everybody's eyes towards this. When I first came to England, I was excited. I was just like everyone else, and so I pushed myself and I worked in all the kind of places I dreamt of working in, and then the money was flowing in. But one mistake that I make, I started throwing the money into buying the physical things. Oh, you have to have a house, you have to buy the car, and you have to take all the great holidays and travel the world. And I did all of that. But what did I then realize? When I lost the job that was paying to cover all of that, I was back to zero. I had nothing. So that's what's happening. If I had saved all this money to invest in myself by gaining skills and gaining knowledge and doing other things first before going into all of that, probably things would have been different. But in the end, I am happy that all that happened, because if it didn't happen, I would not have pushed myself to a different direction. But pushing yourself to a different direction comes from strength of character, and that's one of the things I know I have. But I know there are lots of people out there who give up at the least hurdle in their life. So investing in yourself is all about putting knowledge in yourself, and that's the first place you should spend your money. Because when you put money into gaining knowledge, gaining information, gaining skill, now what will happen is all that knowledge and information and skill will then have what we call a multiplier effect. It will then grow. It's like putting a seed in a soil, and in a healthy soil too. Because I can talk about healthy soil because I used to sow. I mean, I love planting. I love gardening a lot. So you tend to find that I love so many things. But gardening is one of my favorite things. And so I relate to when you take a seed and plant, what then happens is if you keep watering it and watering it, not overwater it, but water it from time to time, it grows and it becomes a huge tree. And where did it start from? It started from a little seed that was put in the soil. That's the same thing with knowledge. That's the same thing with information. That's the same thing with skill. So for instance, I offer skills in hair designing, hair braiding, hair weaving. If you came and gave your money the once, and then you get the power, the know-how, the knowledge of how to create a perfect weave, of how to braid hair, of how to take care of natural hair. Once that knowledge is implanted in your head, it's like planting a seed. So what then happens? It grows. So your knowledge will grow with time. And that's what happens when you take your money and invest in that. And that's what I did. Because in the end, after I lost all the money and I lost everything, I didn't realize, you know what, this is time to invest in yourself. And that's what I did. And like I always explain to people, I used my children's savings to go and invest in me. And today my children are not suffering because the knowledge I got then came to help me to now grow what I'm doing with you today, talking to you. So if you take your time, and we've offered you so many things, giving you videos, giving you DVDs, and we still keep hearing people, but how much will that cost me? You're not thinking, how much will that make me? That's what I want you to see. See the end. Don't see the beginning. People tend to see the beginning and forget the end. This is some very simple mathematics I did. If you came to learn how to work with us, especially with the package we have, which I'm going to show you soon, 21 different ways of working with hair, 21 hair business techniques. Now, just chatting with you today, this morning, before I got online to start working with you, a client just walked in, only 5 strands of cornrows, and I charged £20 for that. Now, if you knew just how to do cornrows, and you were to buy a DVD from us, our DVD at the time we started was about 20 pounds or $20, which we're changing for information's sake. $20, that would have been the cost of that DVD bought. I mean, got back. You've covered the cost of buying the DVD. So why then do people find it so hard to put money down to invest in their knowledge? Because once you knew how to create cornrows, you don't have any issues on cornrows. You can take cornrows to anywhere. I mean, this is an interesting one. Someone sent me a tweet trend only yesterday, and what happened? Kendall Jenner, this Kim Kardashian's younger sister, had 5 lines of cornrows on her side. What then got to people was Marie Claire magazine, this magazine Marie Claire, then made a comment like, Kendall's wearing the most amazing braids ever, and Kendall, everyone got crazy. The tweet was crazy. Oh, so this is the first time you're seeing cornrows. Oh, so now you know about cornrow. Black people have been wearing cornrow, so you just went completely crazy. But can you imagine how much this person who created this cornrow on Kendall's hair charged? That's where I want you to be in a position where you can offer skills that you have to anyone. And right now, celebrities are going crazy for different hairstyles. The track weave that we do, that's what Kim Kardashian wears most times. There's so many things you can bring on board. You don't have to stay on the one track and say it has to be weaves. If weave is your thing, then stick to it. But there's so many styles, and that's 21 different things. And if we're saying to you that costing you $2,000, why should that be a problem? Because if you really look at it, I've got messages, people telling me they went to get their hair braided and people are charging them $300, $400. If the one client is paying that kind of money, you're already making your money after about 4 clients, or how do I put it? Let's say 10 clients, you've covered the cost. If you charge $200 per client, you've covered the cost of your package that's going to give you 21 different ways of playing with hair, which is a huge business by any standard. So it is for you to invest in yourself. Start with investing in yourself. Cut out any unnecessary things. I hear people give me all excuses under the sun. Enough excuses. Focus on what you want in life. Okay, so we've talked about the excuses. We've talked about the people rather spend their money on other things, which I have talked about over and over and over. You know, people rather, you know, we're talking about putting knowledge in your mind or putting knowledge in your brain and then comparing it with the food we eat. And there's a passage in the Bible that really excites me. When Jesus was being tempted by the devil, and he said, man shall not live by bread alone. Because he said, turn these stones into bread and you can eat. And Jesus said, no, man shall not live by bread alone. I always remind myself that, because that has helped me to lose a lot of weight that was unnecessary for me. There are so many of us who walk around town with so much weight. Do you know the effect of weight on your heart? I mean, there are times I'm going to be talking about weight, but it's a big thing. Think first for yourself. What is the effect of this weight on my heart? And so people would rather spend money buying food, physical food, and not remembering mental food or spiritual food. Now there's food in all forms. So there's mental food. This is where your knowledge and information and skills come into your mind, and then you can work with yourself. Then there's spiritual food, which is where you're relating to your creator. But what we tend to do as humans, we tend to focus all our finances on the physical food. So you walk into the supermarket or the food shop, and you see people pushing this trolley that's been filled up to there. And when you really look into this trolley, all you're seeing is sugar, sugar, sugar in all forms. I'm beginning to get to that stage where I don't feel for people that much anymore. Because just like I said, poverty is by choice. You're choosing to buy all this food that's not going to help your body in any form. And then you turn around and you tell someone who wants to empower you with something that will help you, I don't have money. But you have money to drive in a huge car and drive around town and feel good about yourself. You have money to live in a big house. Oh, no problem on that. You have money to fill up your trolley and eat the most ridiculous food that's not going to help your physical body. But you don't have money to empower yourself mentally. These are the things I want you to start thinking about. Try and push any unnecessary thing out of your life. Because clearly, the decision to be poor, the choice to be poor is something you have brought onto yourself. If you start looking at some of these things, you will find out, really? I didn't know about that. That's why I'm bringing them to you. So the next point we need to look at is laziness. That's number 4. Laziness. So laziness is a major issue that doesn't help us in any form. You can well imagine what I'll be telling you about laziness. You know, underneath laziness comes something people call discipline. And discipline apparently is you deciding to go into an area in your life. But no, we will look at discipline in the form of how much of me can I actually push to do what I want to do. You know, life in so many ways tend to interweave into each other. So so many times I've explained as well, you may have the sharpest brain. It may not be that sharp or sharpest mind because you want to achieve something. And that's in your mind. But your body is refusing to get up with you. Now, how do we get to that stage where our mind is thinking something to do and our body says, no, I'm not going? Why? Because we have fed the physical body with so much nonsense that the body has grown so big beyond your ability to control it. Until you want to get off from your bed, you have to lift one leg down and heave and puff and think, and then you lift the next leg down. So when you're thinking, when you're in that state, whatever your mind is saying, your body is not going to be responding to it. So laziness is something that affects us when we're physically unable to carry ourselves to go and achieve what we want to achieve. And this is where the health comes in, where we're talking about poverty by choice. Health is you deciding to put the right things into your body. Remember the example with the fuel and, you know, what kind of engine oil you put into your car. If you put the right things into your body, your body, which is your car, your physical car, will move. And this is something I always like to ask people. What kind of body do you want to have? Do you want to have a body that's like a Rolls Royce, so you appear at events and people go, oh wow, look at her? Or do you want a body that people just look and just walk away? And then when you're driving in that car, it's so big, it's so beautiful, and people look at that car. Now that is physical. That's nothing to do with you as a person. When you walk out of that car, nobody nobody knows who was driving that car. But when you walk into every event, every party, people see you. And this is an area I would like you to start thinking from now onwards. Do you want to glamorize your own car, which is you as a person, in order to achieve those things you want? Because it comes with a lot of good things. If you're physically fit and healthy, you can get up and do the things you want to do. You will not be lazy. Because laziness, in as much as some of us, our mind is really was not telling us the right thing, for some of us, the mind is telling us the right thing, but the body cannot cope with it. And so we then tend to lay back and relax and just say, okay, whatever. work in a motherless children's home, or you know, a charity home. There are lots of charity places across the world. Go and offer your services. It's a good place to start. And so if your service is being taken, people will appreciate it. And that's what it is. So always look at your time from now onwards and keep reminding yourself, I woke up at 6 a.m. Okay, how many hours have I spent now? All right, what do I want to do with the next 2 hours? What do I want to do the next 2 hours? 2 hours, 2 hours, whatever block you want to put them on. Create time for whatever you want to do. You're not that poor. You have so much time on your hands. That time can be converted to create the kind of things you want in your life. So snap out of laziness today and start thinking, what can I do with my time? And one good thing that comes again from not being lazy is, if you find that you're getting more and more lazy, you find that your body starts to grow big as well. If you can snap out of that couch and take walks, if you find you're getting lazy and all you're doing is just sitting on the couch and watching TV, go out for a walk. You don't need to go and register in a gym to keep fit. Just take walks around your neighborhood, because you're going to be offering your services as well, your free services. I'll help you lift that up. I'll help you hold that. I'll help you talk to your clients. I'll help you bring food. Whatever you're doing with your time will help to keep you on your feet, and you're going to be more active. The more active you are, the fitter you will get. And so you actually be gaining something from sharing something. So that's the position I want you to be. Start doing something today. Use your 24 hours properly and snap out of laziness. And if you have bought anybody's DVD, may not be ours, maybe anything else, maybe you're into fashion designing, maybe you're into making food, maybe you're into photography, videography, whatever you're into, sit with it. If you bought DVDs to help you at home, sit with it and watch it and work with it. Implement whatever you have learned, because from there things will grow, and from things growing you will find that money will eventually not be the problem. And if your issue was health, you'll find that the more active you get, the better you feel. And if you take away attention from yourself, is another thing I want people to understand. Lots of people who struggle in life, their biggest problem is me, me, me. If you can take away attention from yourself for a change and look at all the people around you. What about that poor child who hasn't got a mom? What about that poor boy who hasn't got a dad? What about, so if you start thinking about what other people are going through, you will find that that focus has been on yourself will be shared. And if some people tend to think so much about themselves, they fall into depression. If you could take that attention from yourself and put it on other people, what you'll find is your life will be a lot easier to handle. And then you will actually be helping society in the process. So the next point, the next reason that leads us to poverty by choice is lack of originality. Lack of originality, because we tend to follow the crowd a lot. Lots of us, we tend to follow other people like zombies. We tend to imitate. Oh, look, my friend has a shop that does hair, I'm gonna go do hair too. What if hair has never been your thing? What if the minute you see someone sit down, you're already upset? Why am I going to spend my next 10 hours standing behind this person? And there's so many people like that who are into hair. They have no love for hair. I actually did travel once in Nigeria, and I had this young teenager work on my hair, and she was sighing throughout the whole process. And I was like, okay, I thought you enjoy doing hair. I don't enjoy doing hair at all. I'm only here to make money to go to university. So I know there are lots of people out there who have no passion for hair, but because they know it's a quick way to make money, let me just make money quick. And what's happening is people like this are the ones that are giving the other people who have passion for hair a bad name. Hence, the last time I did my hair, they put my hair so tight, it damaged my hair. The last time that person did that, they did this, it happened this way. This is what is causing the problem. Everybody wants to do something that other people have done. Because other people are creating amazing waves. You know what? I'm going to go and do waves too. Everybody's selling hair extensions. I am going to sell hair extensions too. This lack of originality is not getting you anywhere. You know why? Because when the listing happens on a route that's not naturally yours, you give up. The least problem, the least challenge, the least anything that will come your way in that area, boom, you've given up, and then you're ready to moan. You know, people like that, the next thing they will tell their friends and families, they have tried everything, nothing works. Yeah, you can happily say you've tried everything, nothing works, because they were never your thing anyway. So this is where I want people, and I've said it over and over, we have been, it's like when someone just puts something into your veins. We have a DNA in us that gave us some originality. That's why we're not all the same. So there's something about you that I don't have. There's something about me that you don't have. There's something about your husband that you don't have, your wife that you don't have, your kids that you don't have. Your trick now is to know what that thing is that is originally in you. So if you find you have a natural feeling for, you know, gardening, like I've said, I love gardening. With the minute I see an open land ready to be used for planting, I am excited. The same thing with if I see people sewing. If there's a sewing machine right here, I want to jump on it. Same thing with, I see someone with hair, I automatically want to just touch that hair and tell you what to do with your hair. And the same thing with when I want to share message, if I've got something that's in me and it has to come out, I'm ready to sit down and get it out. So those are me. There's so many things that are not me. And that's what you need to try and find out. I don't like walking all over town for the sake of it. I don't like going to museums. They just don't appeal to me. For me, take me to, you know, a high street, we call it high street. Take me to a fashion shop where I can be staring at clothes and go, wow, this is a beautiful one. Show me shoes, I'm excited. But show me other things, I don't want to know. And there are people I know that you take them to a fashion shop, they practically want to sleep. They're not interested. And that's what it should be. So most of the time you may say, okay, don't compare yourself with me, because somehow I have a habit of developing likeness for something. That's just my nature. I have a natural curiosity towards everything I see. Anything I see, I just have curiosity towards them. If you don't see yourself as that person who's just naturally curious towards everything, find what that thing is that you just love doing. Once you know that thing that you love doing, what happens? This is what they say. If you are doing what you love doing, you find that you never work for a day. And I've tested it out. Because when I was pregnant with my fourth child, and I was so heavily pregnant, when my clients come, they want their hair done, I'm ready to do that hair right now. And the minute I finish and I sit down, I am so tired. And it used to make me laugh. Then I would start calling everyone, could you give me this, could you give me? And my husband would say, well, when you were standing up doing that hair, you were not tired. That's just me. So find what that thing is that excites you. Because when you're doing what excites you, you're not working. You're just doing what excites you. From the hair, I want to see the end of this hair, and I want to see how it looks like on the client. If you know what excites you, you would not be working. And that's what this is all about. So do not just follow everyone because everyone is making money from hair. You too want to go into hair. Everyone's making money from selling shoes. You want to sell shoes too. Why if you don't know anything about shoes? Everyone's making money from fashion. Ooh, I'm thinking fashion right now. Now, what's unique about me is I don't do what everybody's doing. I don't follow the crowd. I love to be the leader of whatever I do. So if I have a liking for something and I find that so many people are doing that thing, I probably will say, okay, you know what, carry on, do it. But if I have to do it, I bring something unique to that thing. Like I love fashion. You've seen some of my videos of African fashion. I have picked the African fashion, and not just African fashion, African cultural fashion. Look around you, nobody's doing that. Or maybe few people are doing that. So that lack of originality is something you need to snap out of, because that's what's pushing you to the level where you are, where you're not really enjoying what you're doing, but you're doing it for the sake of it. So if you can push that out, you will be better off. And while we're saying that, the next thing that comes next to it is fitting into a box. You want to fit into a box. This is how it's done. This is the same thing I say to my children. If you want to be like everybody else, then what makes you stand out? Don't fit into a box. Don't say because everybody's studying cosmetology, I have to study cosmetology. If you must do cosmetology for the sake of it, you can do it, but you know the area you want to go into. That's what I did. I went to a hairdressing school. I spent my 2 years in hairdressing, and I finished, and I don't practice it because I needed it to meet up to the legal requirement. Maybe, of course, I learned new things out of it, but it has not stopped me from standing up and screaming my voice out about natural hair care. I know how to work with chemicals, but I don't do it. So I didn't fit into that box for the sake of fitting into a box. When I go out for events and I want to, attend something that's unique, I dress completely differently because I don't want to fit into no box. And the unique one that's really making me laugh and find it really funny is there are lots of us, especially us black people, we have forgotten about our race. We have forgotten about what we stand for because we want to fit in. We want to blend in with the rest of society. You may pick the good things out of the rest of society. That is not a problem. And it hurts me again, especially being African. There are lots of us African who don't know anything about our own roots. That's why you see me tend to, whenever I do most things, I want to go back to my African roots. We have so much in our African continent, but we tend to forget that all we're looking up to is, oh, what's the Western world saying about this? We have African movies, and most people will not watch it. I know I have issues watching some of them, but we would rather glorify Western things. And that's what fitting into a box is all about. And when we tend to do that, where does it lead us? Because what then happens is you can never be better than the person who's originally owning that thing. So, like hairdressing, when I went for it, I knew that if I was to chase hairdressing or cosmetology, I would just be like the rest of the crowd. How will I fit in? How will I make myself stand out? What could you possibly do that you will be better than Tony and Guy? What could you possibly do that you'll be better than the next hairdresser? So I chose not to fit into that box. So it's for you now to stand up for something that you love to do. Be a voice for that thing. I went to an event yesterday, and this was something they implanted into my head. 2 weeks ago, I went for another event, African Rising, and that was another thing that came really straight out to me. Speak with your own voice. And I keep saying to people, especially with hair now, we tend to look at the black hair from the Caucasian point of view. We're using Caucasian eyes to see black hair. Now, look around you. Buy books on hair. How many books out there are talking about the typical black African hair? How many? There's a huge hole in that market. There's a big gap that needs to be filled up. But now we want to fit in. We want to make ourselves not being picked out. That's not where I stand. I stand for something I believe in, and I believe in the typical natural Afro hair. I may wear my wig whenever I feel like it, but my hair is intact. And that's what I want for everyone. who believes in something. Believe in what you believe in and stand by it. Don't allow anyone come in there and change your views on what you believe in, because there's a reason you believe in that thing. So avoid fitting into something, because if you want to fit in, you can never be better than the person who originally has that idea. And these are some of the things that will help you become better. These are some of the things that will make you stand out from the crowd. These are some of the things that will help make you rich. The same thing applies to food. So food being something that goes into our system, I question things. Fitting in the box requires questioning. Because if you don't question, you're going to just do it because someone says do it. What I want to know from whoever's telling me to do something is, why do I have to do it? And if you don't have an answer that explains it to me, I'm not going to do it. So when you want to eat all these foods, which my little trick or tip on food is, I use my head to eat. I don't eat with my mouth, I eat with my head. How do I do that? I ask myself first, what will I gain from this thing I'm putting into my body? That's the first question I ask myself. So same thing applies to skills. Same thing applies to anything you're doing. What is coming out of this for me? Some people call it the W1FM. What is in it for me? If you go into the shop to buy any food and you don't know what you're going to gain out of that food, is it what put it in your mouth? The same thing with chemical. When we start applying relaxers in our hair, when I decided I wasn't doing any more chemical in anybody's hair, what is this chemical going to give this person? And I had fights in my school. What is the value of this chemical in the head? Is it just to straighten it, and then after that what? Does that allow you to be able to be, it brings in flexibility, and then what next? People say finish putting the chemicals in their hair and then they go and braid the hair, and then they go and weave the hair. So what have you achieved with the chemical in the hair? And in the end, you actually are putting chemicals into your body, into your bloodstream. So what is the essence? What is the point of it? So if you start questioning things, you're going to find that poverty will disappear from your life, because you will ask questions. You will not fit into a box. If someone says to you, come and buy insurance, and you say, why am I buying this insurance? What is it going to give me? They will look back and think, and I have to be in a position to explain. If you come in for my training, ask me, what will I get out of this joy? And I will tell you. Because you're going to have a skill that will be yours for life. You're going to have a skill that will empower you with money, because as you do somebody's hair, they will give you money right back. That is the what. So learn to do that with everything you're doing. Don't just fit into a box. Everybody's wearing high-heel shoes. I will wear high-heel shoes. Why are you wearing high-heel shoes? You have to answer yourself that. Is it going to lift my height a bit more? Does it give me confidence? Those are the things you want to answer for yourself. So if you find anything you're doing from now onwards is not supporting your growth in any form, don't do it. Take it out of your life. It's not healthy for you. It's not good for you. And it's actually dragging you back in life. So start questioning. And that's where the fitting in comes in. Question anything that's completely not residing with you, not connecting with you, not what you would have thought. Don't just go to sleep and say, well, they said we should do that. My children in school, I tell them, ask your teacher, why is this? And then they will have answers for them. Number 7 is some people give in too quickly. You give in, you just give up. So you've done a training, you bought our DVDs for instance, and now you're deciding to sit at home to do your work. Then what happened? Then I couldn't get it. Oh, I tried the first time, it didn't work. Oh, it's not looking exactly like yours. I had a student like that once. The first time she came to train, and then there were other students in class, they were in the advanced stages, and she saw their work. And this was her first few days, and she goes, my work is not looking like their work. Oh, I don't know, I don't think I have any flair for this. And I said to her, how long have you been doing this? Only 2 days. Do you know how long they've been doing it? And then the ladies told her, oh, we've been here like 3 months, 2 months. Whoa, something changed. And I said, do you know how long I have been doing it? So that's where it is. Lots of us want to start something. We start and we give up. We start and we give up. I went to an event once. I always tell you about events because I never stop. For me, learning is continuous, and that's what I want you to pick up from me. If I showed you the number of books, if you see my library, if you see my CD library, you would know that there's so much in there in my head. And people ask me most times, how do you sleep at night? I went to an event once and the man explained this same situation. We hop from things to things. Oh, today you want to try hair, no hair didn't work. Oh, no, tomorrow I'm going to go into fashion. No, that didn't make sense. Let me try and go into catering and baking cake. And no, I want to try jewelry. And then I want to go and try shoes. So you keep trying and hopping around. And there was a name he had for a newbie or something like that. He wrote a book he called The Key Person of Influence. You can only become a key person of influence if you sit in an area of business, or you choose something that you love so much and commit into that thing and create understanding and do a lot of research and become an expert in that field, so that if people need knowledge on that, they come to you. That's the same thing across board. So whenever you need knowledge in anything, there is always someone out there that you can go to. I've always asked myself, how did that person become that person that I can go to? And that's where the answers come in. So if you knew that you want to be good at something, all you have to do is push yourself. Not the least hurdle, the least challenge, and you give up. Because the reality about life, as usual, reading up again, is problems is part of life. Full stop. And something I was listening to said, if you are a busy person, just mentally take it on. Between 2 to 3 months, something will happen. Something will happen. Something happens just to distract you a bit, just to challenge you a bit, just to push you a bit, to see how far you will bend. Now that's up to you to start learning to understand that things will always happen. It says, for life is not the fact that things will happen that's the problem. It's how you can take care of that thing when it happens. It's your ability to deal with problems that makes you a successful person. Okay, so some of us have that ability to withstand whatever it is that's coming into our life, so we can challenge it. Remember when I explained to you how, working and making so much money and then achieving so much, and boom, everything disappeared. Now, lots of people will give in at that stage. And I've had so many instances where people are going out there and committing suicide. I had a very pathetic one recently, and this mother took her only one son, and they got into a car and she killed themselves. I don't know how she did it, but either the car got burnt or something. And how sad is that? She had no idea what the son was going to grow up to become. Her life hasn't made sense, so she takes the young son with her and kills him. That's what people are doing. They get so depressed and so sad and so desperate, they give up. You could be a voice for whatever this problem is. Because when I experience lack, that's why I'm a voice for you now. That's why I can tell you what I've been through to be able to help. Now, lots of us are also looking for quick results. So we have no patience, we have no persistence. So these are the things you have to keep thinking about. Okay, Joy has been doing hair for so long. Why can't I keep doing hair for so long? Why do I want results with hair in 2 days? Interestingly, one of my students who's really doing well, and I'm so proud of her, when she came to train with us, She already was on YouTube shooting videos and people were following her. She knew within herself that she needed more knowledge, but she was already talking about the little she knew. And by the time she came for her training and added that onto what she knew, she's flying. And only recently she was celebrating her 8 years. And she was given, you know, information how there were times she could have given up. And I just laughed. Because that's the same to anyone who's successful out there. When you look at the Beyoncés of the world, you look at the Rihannas of the world, lots of people think, yes, unless I become a musician or a movie actor. These people need help. That Beyonce needs help with her hair. Rihanna needs help with. You could be the one doing their hair. We don't all have to be musicians. We don't all have to be actresses. We can all do different things. Like I've said, the DNA in you can bring out something unique about you. The people will also look up to you for it. So if you are now doing that and you just want quick results, then that is not your passion. If you want quick result out of your passion, that's not your passion. Because your passion, you can even give it away freely without even asking for money. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but you can give your passion out freely. Why? Because somehow in your head, you don't think you put in any effort. I was like that. I am still like that. Because several times I have created series and series of videos before we got to the stage where we started creating the detailed ones that people could watch at home and change their life. We put a lot of videos out there on YouTube absolutely free. And somehow, to me, I wasn't doing anything. I was just doing what I know how to. And that's when you know that you are actually doing what your body allows you. This is your passion. This is what you love doing. And when you start dealing with the world where people want to get things out of you without giving anything back to you, then you stop and query it. So I'm not saying be in that position where you give everything for free, but if you can happily share knowledge, share information, share skill without thinking twice about it, that's your passion. So don't be in that position where you want to just get quick results. You know what, I tried learning this hair thing, it's not making sense, that's it, I'm not doing hair again. And so you're going to be this continuous newbie, this butterfly going from end to end to end, and you will never stop and you'll never achieve. There's a saying about that, the rolling stone gathers, or the rolling ball, something like that, gathers no dust. You don't want to be that. Dust is your knowledge, dust is your experience. So the more you're doing something, you pile on lots of experience, and that's why people come to you. Then you become the expert. Then you can guide people. So number 8 is seeking approval. Now this is an interesting one that really makes me laugh. Again, it's all about how we tend to live in that scenario where we think someone is better than us in every way. And so everything we tend to do, we wait for that person to say yes. You know, it's a bit like a mother and child relationship, or father-son relationship, where, you know, the 8-year-old, 6-year-old, 3-year-old will cry to mommy, and until mommy says it's okay, then they don't think it's okay. And most people grow up into adulthood still in that frame of mind. So you don't have any mind of your own. You wait for someone to say, wow, look at that hair you did, that is amazing. Really? Is it amazing? Okay, I'll do more hair. And then tomorrow, if everybody says, look at that hair, that is absolutely horrible. Okay, that's it. I'm never touching hair again. Everyone said it was horrible. How do you allow yourself to be in that position where you do not have a mind of your own to look at what you can do and say, I think there's room for improvement? No problem. Today I did it like this. I know what happened there. Maybe I pulled the hair too quickly, maybe I didn't put it firmly, or maybe that food I cooked, I undercooked it. or I overcooked it, or maybe that picture, maybe it's a bit blurry, maybe if I make it a bit sharper, or maybe that plant, when I put it down, actually that soil was a bit stiff, that's why it's not growing. You can respond to yourself. You can say to yourself, I know the reason that happened. You know what, if I do a bit more research, I'll find out what the problem is. You know, my health is not looking really good right now. I'm going to find out why I feel this way. I'm having lots of headache. Let me go and Google and find out what could possibly be causing my headache. You know, my weight, I've been trying so hard to lose weight. It's not making sense. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried that. Maybe if I find out what am I eating that's really not helpful. And so that's the same thing I said earlier about asking the who, the where, the what, and the when. So everything you do, put in that into the back of your mind. Why is it this way? Why is it not that way? So you eliminate, you take out that person that's now holding you back, because some people may just sit there and deliberately sit on you. It's like when I do YouTube videos and I get people all the time giving negative comments. If I was sitting down and waiting for the negative commenters, I would stop. But unfortunately, they hit the wrong person. I'm not that kind of person who gives up at the least hurdle. There are people, if you look at the celebrities, it makes you question. I look at Lady Gaga's videos and the number of hits are more than the number of likes. Has it stopped Lady Gaga from singing? Or maybe you're looking at Beyonce, the number of comments that are so negative sometimes, you wonder, or Kim Kardashian. So these are the things you should put at the back of your mind. If you're sitting out there and waiting for someone to approve of what you're doing before you do it, you're never going to get up. And I'm telling you, this could be your best, someone in your home as well. It could be your husband, it could be your wife. It could be that person who's so closest to you that's actually talking you down. But that thing is in your spirit that you have to do this thing. But somehow, your husband thinks, nah, it's not going to work. Don't do it. Your wife says, no, I don't think I like it. And interesting, I watched that movie, I can't remember what it's called right now. And the storyline was like that. The wife was the one who was completely against the husband doing what he was doing. And he just knew that that was what he needed to do. In the end, they separated and broke up. And the result came out fantastic. He followed his dream. I think Pursuit of Happiness, yes. Go and watch that movie. You see exactly what I'm talking about. He followed his dream and he got to the end result he wanted. So when we're talking about seeking approval, I'm not saying to you, there's something we call mentorship. And then there's the other one. So mentorship is about looking at someone who's done similar thing and you're saying, you know what? Like me, for instance, I've done hair for so long. I've done fashion. I've done so many things. You could come to me and say, regarding hair, Joy, I'm interested. Like recently we got someone with an email as long as you can think of, and she's asking so many questions. I'm ready to chat with that person because she needs help. She's looking at what I've done and she wants guidance. So that's mentorship. Or it's like someone who just got newly married and I've been married for 20 years and say, look, my husband's giving me grief and I have no idea how to deal with this marriage. Can you help me? I could listen and, you know, throw in here and there to support. Because I remember one of my friends once who was having major issues in her marriage as well. And when she came around and she was going on and on and on and on. And I said, but is there any part of this person that you like? That was the only one word that said, and that changed everything. She said, you know, you're right. There are these areas and these areas that he does really great things. So, okay, let's look at the bad side and look at the good side. Let's see which one, how they outweigh each other. So that's different. That's different from someone constantly seeing everything you do as wrong. I mean, I've had someone say to me, they watched a video I did on threading, and the comment I got was ugly. Ugly? What do you know about silk thread or threading? Where is your ugliness coming from? And my response to the person was, It's your brain that's ugly. It's your mind that's ugly. Because if you haven't opened up yourself to appreciate what someone has done, I don't know why you must make a comment. If that comment is not going to be of value to that person, then there's something called constructive criticism. That's different from just absolute negative. But you see, that's the world. You're not going to change the world. There's something that says the only person you have control over is you. And I'm telling you, with your children, with your husband, with your sisters, with your brothers, you have absolutely no control over anyone else. You may think now that your kids are young, you have control. Wait until they grow up. So that's what it is. So you're not going to stop negative people around you. You're not going to stop people making nasty remarks at you, but you can stop yourself from taking that on. And that's why you don't need approval when you know this is what you want to take on. Years back when I started on this journey, if I was sitting down and waiting for my husband to approve of it, it would never have happened. Because obviously his state of mind at that time was not saying what I was saying. And the same applies to most relationships. Your husband may be doing something that you have no clue what that is. You are not in his head to know what the end result is. And so you are sitting down there and just saying, don't do it. Have you sat with him to say, but why? Where are we going with this? So the same thing with you, the wife. The husband just said, and I've had so many students in this situation, which makes me laugh, because the minute they come and they tell me that, I say, no. Do what's in your mind. That's what counts. They come and they say, the husband, there was a unique case. She'd given us money, she was ready for training, and then she goes home and the husband got so wound up. Why did you go and give your money to those people? Do you know? And then she called me crying. And I said, your husband said that? Don't worry about it. We're going to equip your hand with so much skill that by the time you're making the money, he will be thanking you. And I had a student, another student, who same thing. She told me, don't say anything to my husband about how much money I put into this training. If he asks you, say, no, it was such little money, it's nothing. But when she finished her training, the first client she had to deal with was a celebrity. And that changed everything for her. And today, they're driving and riding the world and traveling from end to end. He had no idea how she started. That's what you need to put in your brain. If you're waiting for people to approve of you to do what's in your head, it's never going to happen. Okay, so still working on the approval stage. So there are people who wait for applause. So everything they do, clap hand. Then they feel great. Wow, everyone clapped for me. There are people who wait for awards. Oh, look, I've been running in this business for only 6 months and look at the number of awards I've got. Recognition. Oh, we recognize her for this amazing work she's done. If you were sitting down and waiting for all those things to happen before you can move yourself forward, you're going to stay in one place. So that's my advice for you. Cut out the nonsense. I call them nonsense. Cut them out. Because if you have something very big in your mind, you are a voice for something. Go for it. If the world wants to see it, fine. The world does not want to see it, no problem. Because I know the amount of value I add to people's lives. I have never sat down. You will not hear me telling you, I won this award and I won that award. I mean, what makes me laugh most times, especially for the Afro hair, there are events across the world, or at least here in the UK, and they have this big show. And then they're charging money to give you an award. How does that cover the fact that you've really contributed to that industry? And I had someone send me an email once, could you sponsor that you should be given an award? Based on what? Is it your award that's going to change the way I feel about myself? Is it your award that will put the message in my head that I will share with the world? I don't see that. And so I don't put money down for anything. I know how I reach my clients. I know the contribution I put in people's lives. And that's what I'm here to give. And maybe one day in future, people will remember that lady, she talked me into looking back into my hands. That lady, she reminded me what I had in my head. That lady, that's all I want. And by the time, by God's grace, I sit down and write my books, and this becomes the things that people look up to help them achieve things, I am excited. And if you contribute towards me continuing to do this, which is what we say to you every day, invest in the training, invest in the skills, we are happy to do what we do. I'm not waiting for anyone to say, here you go, an award for being such a star, for helping people develop their life. So if you're doing the same thing, what you'll find is you get frustrated. If you're thinking, oh, you see all these things I've been doing in my neighborhood, no one's appreciated it, you are going to stop. And that's where the poverty becomes by choice, because you chose to stop. So the next one again, number 9. Some people are too choosy. Some people are too choosy. Some people are too picky. Some people seek unnecessary prestige. Some people are in denial. So why am I saying that? No, if you are desperate to move your life forward, you will do whatever it takes to move your life forward. I just came back from an event 2 days ago, and very funny, and this man kept saying, I wanted to do something, and somebody said to me, do whatever it take, do whatever it take. So I want you to remind yourself that, do whatever it take. You might change it to do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes to move your life forward. Picky, choosy, prestige, denial. All of these things are not here to serve you. What do I call picky? Okay, you haven't got any money on you. What are you doing? You got 24 hours in your hands. You got time on your hands. If you walked into any shop, there was a book I read once, and this man said, it's not about making money. That's not why people lack. It's about, he calls it J-O-B. And what is there in J-O-B? Why do people need jobs? Because they want to have pension, because they want to have salary at the end of the month, because they want to wear a white shirt and they put a tie on and they go into an office and they sit down and they feel cool. Survival does not require cool. Survival is, how do I eat today? How do I eat tomorrow? How do I feed my family? What puts me away from the streets? That's what survival is about. So if you're focusing on, you know what, the type of job I needed is the one that will make me wear the most glamorous dress and have the most glamorous hairstyle with my lipstick and my earrings, and I will wear bling bling. Such jobs don't exist that much. What the man's advice was, if you walk 3 blocks down the street and you knock on the door and say, can I clean your window so you pay me some money? Chances are by the time you walk 5 blocks, someone will open the door, give you $5, you clean their window. Now that's what I call survival. That's what I call not being picky. I was in Chicago once and I was in the train, and this man walked around. He was begging money. He was begging money from person to person in the train. And what he said, which was very, very funny, I picked on, was, you know, I have other choices how I could make this money, but I chose not to. I could make money in another form, but I've taken down all of that. I'll rather beg than take money in another means. He was trying to say, I could have gone into crime to make this money. Why do you have to go that far? Has he considered, I don't mind sweeping the streets to make money. I don't mind going in the shop and just opening the door to make money. So has he considered other means of making money? Has he considered going to a charity home to offer his time and help people who are in need? There are so many ways of making money. When I first came to England, that was the first thing I did. I was curious. And so the first thing I did was getting free newspapers. Not even, I didn't buy newspapers, free newspapers, and I opened it up and I was seeing sections where you could do charity work. And I was excited. I phoned up all the places and I walked in shops and I walked in, you know, people who just pick up the phone, take donations. I did all of that. All they wanted was, could you speak on the phone? Yes, I can. Yeah, come in. Could you stand in the shop and help people? Yes, I can. And so I find it so hard to relate to people who say, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything and nothing works. You obviously haven't tried giving your time. You haven't tried giving your free time. You haven't got anything you're doing, and that's why you don't have money. So use your time to do something. So stop being picky. It has to be a certain kind of way. It has to be this way. I have to wear the, you know, designer clothes when I go there, and the designer perfumes and the designer shoes. Then it will not happen. And this is especially for young people, because I have teenagers and I know how they think. You have to take away that way of thinking and be ready to do whatever it takes. I'm not saying go into crime. Don't go into crime, because if you go into crime, it does not pay. Crime does not pay. But be ready to take on work, take on jobs, take on skills that will help you. So if you're offering your services to the shop, open the door, sweep the, you know, dream. Just start dreaming. Yeah, I could start it like that. And once I've got a little money, for people who always say to me, your courses are too expensive. If you start slowly and start saving, even if it's $10 a week, $20 a week, by the end of a year, you will have enough money. I mean, what I learned the other day, if you save $3 a day, $3 a day, by the end of a year, you have $3,000. Have you considered that? And that could get you going. So all you have to do is cut out the unnecessary food that you don't need, that's not going to help your body. Now $3 you would have used in buying the bagel, the $3 you would have used in buying the McDonald's, $3, anything that's not necessary in your life, put it away. Get yourself one of those little containers and just put the little money in there every day. Any excess money you don't have immediate use for, put it away. Even I do that. Just so that when you know you have something, a major need in your life, you can take that money in bulk and go and get it. Because one thing you should never do for yourself is to expect that someone's going to sit out there and give you knowledge and skill and you know, power, things that will help you absolutely free. It doesn't happen. You may get a bit of it, you may get a bit of something, but if you have a natural curiosity like I have, I want to get to the bottom of that thing. I want to know what makes that person so great. And so people like me will go and buy books on that person. If I'm curious about somebody, I want to buy a book on that person. I want to read more about that person. You're not going to get that free. They don't just throw it at you. You may go to a dollar shop or a pound shop and buy books, which I do sometimes. But if you want to get real books that deal with real life, real CDs, real DVDs, my collection of CDs and DVDs are going from 70 to 100 pounds each. Now that's where the real thing is, because you have given them something, so they are giving you something. So if you don't think you should put value into somebody's life and you want them to give you value, it does not exist. Okay, so before we go any further, I know I've been talking about that package over and over and promised to show it to you. So this is what it is. This is a package that contains 21 different ways of working with hair. So with this package, there's so much we've offered. If you're in the US this August, we're coming to work with you on this package. We're giving you 4 days of mentoring where we really guide you to make sure this happens. And apart from just the skill itself, is you can hear all the things I talk about. There's a lot more to run a business. It's not just I know how to do hair, I know how to cook, I know how to create fashion. There's so many more. There's the marketing of your business. There's the, you know, consulting with your clients and working with other people. There's the planning your business. There's the selling of your business. There's the, you know, the public relations in your business. There's so much more that makes a business work. And especially with hair, which is an area I've been in for 10 years now. If you don't know what to do, you will lose it. If you don't know what to do, it will happen just like that everything's gone. I've heard of a story where this lady was working from home and she was so booked, and then she now thought, let me go into the shop, which she did, and then she had people helping her. But the minute people joined in, everything went crazy. Now the clients that she built up over the years from home started leaving her because they now thought she'd grown so big and she didn't have enough attention for them. So there is so much more that makes a hair business work. And there are people who have been in the industry for 20, 30 years at the point of giving up. I get those emails all the time. And the minute they could hear me talk and the way I've supported them, they're holding on to their business. So these are some of the things that are going to come to you when we come for this visit in the States. Now, apart from the package, there are also short courses like the one-day course in what we call the Introduction to Hair Braiding, which again we have DVDs for everything. That's the Senegalese twist, that one. This one is the box braids, which is very popular. This is the introduction package, which contains 4 major things. And this is the tree braid weave. Now, each of these things I've shown you can earn you up to $37,000 or pounds, depending on where you're based and how much you're pricing and how committed you are in a year. And like I've explained to you, the one client you work with can cover the cost of the DVD. And once you cover the cost of the DVD, what else do you think is coming your way? The rest is profit. And that's why hair business, to me, is one of the best things people can take on if you have an affinity for hair, if you have a passion for hair. Because when I started years back, I had choices. I could go into fashion, I could go into gardening, like I've mentioned. I love reading books, I love so many things. But when I analyzed it, because I'm a naturally curious and analytical person, I took my time to think about them. And I knew that I wanted something that there would be no lack of food in my house. My children would not say, I'm hungry, and I say, sorry, there's no food. So that's why hair came in. Because the minute you do somebody's hair, they pay you right away. They don't run away. It's different from when you buy fabric and sell. You buy jewelry and you sell. If you buy all these things and sell it, somebody might say, I have enough jewelry, I don't want any more jewelry. Somebody may say, I have enough shoes, I don't want any more shoes. I have enough clothes, I don't need any more clothes. What do you then do? I have enough makeup, I don't want any more makeup. So, but if you are doing something that people actually want, it will help. Okay, so working with hair does give you that power where you can have control. And I've talked about this over and over. You can work from your house, and you only will work with one person at a time. So there's no confusion about that. You can work it around your family. This was one of the areas that really did it for me, because you know I have 4 kids. My children were really small, and I wanted to drop them to school and pick them up and go with them on school trips. I wanted something that I could make my life flexible. And I didn't want anything that would tie me down as well. Like if I'm making clothes for you, then you have to wait. I have to wait for 4 days, 5 days before I can finish making it. And then when I finish making it, you come and you try it and you say, this part doesn't fit that part. And then I bought all the materials to get it done. So I didn't want none of that. I wanted something, you sit with me and get your hair done now. You paid me the money, you walked away. Everyone's happy, you gone, I'm gone, carrying on with my life. So these are some of the reasons that hair stood out for me. And now that I've done all I wanted to do in hair, Now I can now add more things on, and this is what I'm doing now. So I'm beginning to dream, what are those other dreams that I had? I knew I love fashion, so I'm beginning to think, I know I want to go to a place where I can have access to a wide range of land, that I can start planting things and looking at my flowers grow, things like that I love to deal with. I want to be a bit near the sea, and that's why we chose to come near the sea. So as you've got something going, and you've helped it to grow and grow and grow, then you can now start making the choices, the other choices that you want. And that's why it's up to you. If hair is your thing, we got all the things ready. And this was again down to the request we had. People saying to us, but you're so far away, how can you help us? We don't have the money to travel. We don't do this, we don't do that. So we came up with all these solutions. But I still don't see that much response, in the sense of, how hungry are you for knowledge? How hungry are you for skills? How hungry are you for information? Because we've said we're bringing to you a free, completely free, one-day workshop where I'm going to guide you to understand, change that mindset that's making you think that you were born poor, or making you think that your life is meant to be poor. And do you know the questions I'm getting from people? But I'm going to be traveling from XYZ state to the other state, and this is for people in the US. I have carried myself from England to the US. How hard is that? I have saved you the cost of you traveling to England. Do you want me in your kitchen? Because that is not going to be happening. That's not possible. I cannot travel to everyone's house to give them skill. And it comes on to the same thing we're just discussing today about how we're choosing to be poor. If you're desperately hungry for knowledge and you want to change something in your life, you need to change the way you see things. If it will cost you $200 to travel down to where I will be, how about invest in yourself? How about cut out those unnecessary food you don't need, your body doesn't need? How about cut out some unnecessary shoes that you don't need to wear every day? The handbag to carry. Because when you gain knowledge and get skill, you can then, it's like you've planted a tree, and you can then go in there and pluck the fruits to eat. The fruits will become the money you make each time you're working with clients. Then you can buy the shoe you want. Then you can buy the dress you want, the perfume, whatever it is that you want. It is guaranteed you know where your money is coming from. So I'm not going to overstress this topic. I keep repeating myself. I don't like repeating myself. But it's because people are not listening. So if you can help yourself and carry yourself to where you will gain knowledge, gain information. If you've been watching me for so long, you now know that I'm not here to mislead you. It's up to you to make that change. So we're still on our top 11 reasons why we are poor, and we've explained that the reason, or the choice, the reason we are poor is by choice, and I've given you so many reasons. So number 10 on that list of reasons why we're poor is lack of belief in ourselves. This is another really lovely part I like to look at. You were born great, and that's why our focus now is about you were born to win. All of us were born to win. We were born to achieve something. This is where I delve into my spirituality, because again, like the rest of us who are curious, I was curious, why am I here? What brought me here? Why am I on earth? I don't think any of us chose. We didn't have to go and say, excuse me, I want to go to earth, please can you send me to earth? We didn't choose, we just saw ourselves here. And like my little son would say, Mom, when I was in your stomach I knew. Oh really? None of us knew how it happened. We just saw ourselves here. Now, this is the unique thing about life. We are the only other equation to life. We're the only other equation to life. Life is continuous. When you came, there was life. People were already here. When you are going to leave, like my two brothers have gone, my parents have gone, people are still here. And if you start to look around you, you will find that people you know are beginning to leave slowly and slowly. And then you look at your children. Oh my goodness, my daughter is 18 years old. My cousin is 30 years old. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I am this old now. So that's life. You are the unique thing about life. And so for you to have been here, there's a reason you are here. And this is what I preach to everyone now. Find out why you are here. Why are you here? And what helped me understanding that was a book they called Purpose, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Lots of people say, I don't understand your accent. Purpose-driven life. That's what it's called. And the question was, what on earth am I here for? I asked myself that. What on earth am I here for? And then I found out. Because there's a reason we are here. That reason comes to us through our spirit. You remember when I gave you the story where we grow up to the age of 25, we're still excited about life, everything is happening for us. I'm going to school, and when I finish, and I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and all of this is going to happen. And you get to 25 and boom, nothing happens. Then your spirit starts to give up. This is why you have to find out why you're here. Because people who have a clear knowledge of why they're here, from the age of 3, you can tell, like your kids or your cousins around you, you can tell if she's one who's really into her looks. You can tell her she's growing up, she's gradually focusing on what she looks like. You can tell if someone is into sports, she's always, every time it's sport, her spirit is, alive. So the minute you know what it is you're excited about, that could be the thing that you're here to, be the voice for. And I look back and I remembered as a child wanting to help everyone around me. That was me. I practically, from when my big brothers told me about me, I always used to call myself the mother of everyone. And then they used to wonder, why is she like that? That was me from a child. And that's why now I happily share and share and share. That's just inherent in me. So if you can find what's inherent in you, believe in that thing. Believe it, because that's who you are. So once you know who you are, now the next thing that will then happen is, how do I support who I am? That's where your curiosity for knowledge comes from. Remember we talked about you being curious. We're going to get into curiosity stage. But you have to ask questions. Then the what, the where, the when, then the know-how comes in. So if you find you have a voice for singing like Beyonce did, if you look at Beyonce's history, you can tell as well. From when she was a young child, she started singing. All these people who stand the test of time already had it in them. It's not like this manufactured overnight. They stand on X Factor, they stand on Voice, they stand on, and then they want to pretend that they've got it in them. What I tend to find as well is, you will find some of them who are beautifully, naturally created for that. The minute they get into the swing of the industry, what happens? They alter the way they were formed. So someone who had a really, really heavy, thick voice suddenly is told to sing really light, and they have all this auto-tune. And because what they're bringing on board is uniformity. Everybody's singing the same auto-tune. People then tune out. Because then if you don't throw out the unnecessary things. I was watching a program the other day, and someone said about one of the stars, I won't bother mentioning her name, and was like, oh, the reason I'm not coping in Hollywood is because I don't go naked. And people were like, but we have other celebrities, we have people like some other musicians who don't even, they dress up to their throat, and they have become superstars, and they have achieved everything you can think of achieving. So you don't have to base who you are on pleasing the crowd, like I said earlier. Believe in yourself. Believe in that thing that you were created with, that thing that makes you who you are. Because the minute you lose your soul, you lose your spirit, you lose who you are, you want to join the crowd, you want to be like everybody else. Suddenly everybody else, no one's interested in everybody else. And something I read once said, if you want to be noticed, you have to give people reason to notice you. You want to be seen for what you're good at, give them reason to see that thing. You have to let them know that you are good at that thing. And another one I found out is, whatever you give out is what people respond to you with. Like now, because I tend to support braiding a lot, and I'm talking about braiding all the time, people think all she does is braiding. And they forget that I can do other things. I can do weaves, I can do, you know, tracks, I can do extensions, and I can do, you know, you name it. But my kind of person want to look at the underdog and pull that person up. Because when I tend to talk to people who are you know, thinking that they're poor and thinking that they don't have anything, and I'm ready saying, oh, buy this DVD, it costs $20, it costs $40, it costs whatever. I could throw my business at people who are willing to pay whatever for it. But I don't get satisfaction from just giving people who already have other skills, and then here you go, add more. I want to give people who think they don't have anything, because I know you have something. So that's why I kind of stand behind anyone who's feeling down. I want to pull you up. So if you believe in who you are, you will stand for yourself and do the things you need to do without letting anyone drag you down. That belief is very important, because you don't know what you bring on board. You have no idea what you've been created with. But the only way you can find out is, what are those things that make you feel good? Because you know what I say? If you don't feel good about something, you're not going to be good at that thing. That's the honest truth. And so, I mean, occasionally I get the students who will come here, pay good money to be here. And you can just tell by the body language that she doesn't want to be here. We got to a stage where we were vetting everyone who wanted to do our skill. Do you know why? Because I spend my time to be with you. Now the time I'm spending to be with you, I could have been anywhere else. I could have been at an event that will empower my brain. I could have been talking to another client who's ready to do what I'm doing. I could have been doing somebody's hair. I have created the time to be with you, and then you don't want to be here. So if you know that something is not for you, size it out, find out, get the feel of it, and then remind yourself, no, this is not what I was made for. I have been to events where I finished and I never used that skill one day. But again, it will help me to, on the way, to touch some other things, and I will remember, this is, you know what, when I did this, it really did help me to, it may be just the one thing I picked from it that may still be useful, but it may not necessarily be what I picked to do. Just like I talked about hairdressing or cosmetology, as you will call it. I know how to do all of them, but it's not in me. My body does not let me go and take chemicals and put on somebody's head, because I know the effect of chemicals. I know how it goes into your bloodstream and changes things in your body. I know when I'm trying to eat food, I know what they have put in this food, and I'm actually feeding myself with it. So the minute I know this does not agree with my spirit, I will cringe when I'm doing it. So if you find there's anything out there that you are doing, and this applies to people who are working as well, because I get people say, oh yeah, she's just talking, well, I'm so gainfully employed, so there's no problem. I really tell people like that. There's a book called Who Moved My Cheese? Because it happened to me. When I started in telecoms, it was exciting. And then I realized it was all about database. Just go on the computer and type in something and type in something, and that's what I was doing every day. And that wasn't me. I was not imparting on anybody's knowledge. I wasn't, yes, I could then teach how to work with the database, but still I didn't feel something inside my spirit thinking that I was contributing to life. And I remember being paid so much money. I told my auntie then, and I said, I'm not happy with my job. And she said, oh, you shut up. There are loads of people wanting to do the job you do and earn the kind of salary you earn. So what are you going on about? And I said, no, it doesn't make me happy. I knew that that wasn't me. But there was so much money in it, but it wasn't me. So the same thing, now I'm into hair, I'm working with hair, I'm supporting people, I'm giving you skills. And I don't get the money for it, but I still feel good that I am impacting knowledge. But I will be even happier if people can support me. If people can support me to support them. That's why I created the DVD, so you don't have your excuse why you cannot do it. So that's why, you knowing who you are, go out there and be yourself. Don't change you to suit anyone. If you can sing and you have a way of singing, stick by that way of singing. They can fine tune it, but don't alter your spirit to become another Rihanna. And I keep hearing people say, I want to be like Rihanna. What about Rihanna being like you? Don't try to be like Beyonce, because Beyonce is unique. Rihanna is unique. Joy is unique. So look at yourself and be yourself. And again, the lack of belief that makes me laugh when people look at themselves, they say, oh man, I don't think I can ever do that. This is an area I want you to look at. Have you ever watched the Olympics? And if you have you ever watched the Paralympics? Now the Paralympics is where you have all the disabled people, people who have maybe no legs, people who have maybe one hand, people who have, there's something not right with someone who is at the Paralympics. It's not about not right, but this is what they found themselves in. That's the situation they found themselves in. Now lots of us who, the minute we lose all our hair, we say, that's it, I'm gonna go and commit suicide, I've lost all my hair. Or the minute something happened to our leg, we say, you know what, that's it. But I read somewhere where this man, actually, that was what changed his life. He then he lost his voice, and his voice was his asset, his biggest asset. And he said no. He became the voice for using computer to generate voice. So the minute he realized he lost one side, he quickly turned his mind around and became an asset to the next thing that came. So you cannot sit there, maybe with two hands, maybe with two legs. You can coordinate thoughts. And you then look at yourself and say, I'm not good enough. I can never do that. No, that's for other people. And so I actually sit down, it makes me laugh on Instagram. I watch Instagram a lot. I love to look at it. And you see these so-called celebrities, the minute they put a picture, that picture means nothing. They haven't taught you any skill in the process. They're just showing their bum, they're just showing their breast, they're just showing their hand, and you have 1 million likes. 1 million likes for Rihanna just smiling. That makes me laugh, because what's happening is you're sitting there on your phone and you're thinking she is so good. That girl, she is amazing. The minute she throws a picture, like. What about people like you? What about you become the focus where you are then liked? Have you ever thought about that? So the reality about life is, life or good life is not for people out there. No. Good life is not based on race. Good life is not based on height. It's not based on age. It's not based on genes. It's for every one of us. All of us have the right to be as successful as anybody else. It's our right. So snap out of this. I don't believe in myself. Believe in yourself from today. Okay, so we finally get there. Number 11. That's one of my favorite ones. Is curiosity. We're not curious enough. Lack of curiosity is what is holding you down. That's what's making you poor. Now, this is something that I really struggle with. Why does anyone think, especially today, 2014, with the amount of information out there, anything you want is there somewhere online. People still lacking. And if you listen while you hear people say, have you Googled it? Have you Googled it? Have you checked that out on YouTube? That is your chance to do something with your life. This is your chance to change that position, that poverty state that you're in. Because the beauty of being online has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Nobody said to you, you have to be old to be online. Yes, I know there are some websites that children cannot go. But we're not talking about pornography here. We're not talking about going to crazy sites. We're talking about regular, everyday life that can help you. You're not curious enough to find out. No, you want to sit there and wait for someone to bring that knowledge to your house. That's exactly what I'm saying about people traveling to come and see what we are bringing on board. No! When are you coming to New York? When are you coming to Texas? When are you coming to LA? So you're sitting down there and waiting until I come there. Where is your sense of curiosity? I mean, you hear me talk about every event that passes. The minute I'm checking my email and I see something that's going to be of value to me, that's going to be beneficial to me, I pull all the stops. I've had to cancel appointments because what I know is if you come be with me today, and then I could have been at some event that will implant a lot of knowledge and information into my head that would change my life, I would rather forego your money you would have given me today and go and get that one first, because it's not every day that one happens. But I can reschedule you. I can say, can you see me tomorrow instead? Can you see me next week instead? So the variables are different. So the opportunity, and that's what we keep saying, grab this opportunity. The opportunity of you seeing me in America today is now. Now, if I don't see you this August, do you know when I'm going to come back again? And then the next question will be, when are you coming again? Do you think I put my life on hold in order to come to you? That's not what it is. That's not how it works. So this is again where I'm saying to you, you have to change your mind in order to change your life. Because if your mind is set in a particular way and it has created you these problems, you're not going to solve these problems using the same mind. You're not going to make your car move with the same engine oil that is in it. If that engine oil is what's making the car not move, that same engine oil will not make the car, no miracle is going to make it move. If the petrol you put in your car is what's making your car not move, no miracle will make that petrol change. So if you want to change your car state, if you want to move your car, you have to change that engine oil. You have to change that petrol in it. So if you want to change your life, you have to change the mind that created the life you have now. So it's all about change. So if I have said to you, I'm coming, now be curious. You know, there used to be a saying that says curiosity kills a cat. You've also heard that saying that says curious judge. If you're not curious, you will never find things. And my kind of person, the minute I know I can ask you questions, I don't stop asking. I mean, interesting enough today, I have this little girl, she's only 6 years old, and she came to get her hair done with me today. And she was so curious. How long did you take to learn how to do hair? How long did you make your hair to look like that? And what do I need to be able to do hair like you? 6 years old. Now, without a doubt, without even an iota of doubt, if that little girl carries on in that way of thinking, she is destined for great things. Because the only thing that moves you forward is your ability to question. The minute you question, you get answers. Nobody ever blanked anyone who questioned out of their life. So when you ask questions, they may not answer you today. Just keep asking. But hello, excuse me. And this is something I say to my children. Don't sit in the class passive. Ask questions. Because again, when you ask, let's say your teacher didn't know, they will be going out there to seek that knowledge in order to let you know. So in business, the same thing applies. You may have started your business to say, I'm going to focus on X. The minute your clients start asking, but do you know how to do the locks? But do you know how to do the Senegalese twist? But do you know how to do the Afro kinky twist? Then you start thinking, oh my word, I thought I could only do braids, but now they're asking me, why don't I go and find a way I can? And that's what then gives you more and more knowledge. And that's why we created a package that gives you so much more. The reason we created that was make sure no one walks out of your shop. Because when they come and they say, but can you do this as well? Oh yes, I can do that. Oh yeah, I can do, I have done that before, and this is where I did it. Look at the image of what I did before. That's how it works. So curiosity pushes you to achieve things. The minute you sit down and wait and not update your knowledge, you will be forgotten. You'll be forgotten. The same thing applies to when we go to school. Lots of people think when you go to university and you learn how to become maybe a political scientist, maybe a marketing expert, maybe. Whatever it is you learned, that's not the end of knowledge. It is not what you went to learn in school that becomes who you are. Because what will eventually make you is the continuous knowledge you take on day in, day out. And the minute you don't add that knowledge, you know what happens? You become obsolete. You become old. You may be young, but you are old. Old because what you know is old. What you know is no longer existing. And that's not where we want you to be. And interestingly, the event I went to 2 days ago, what the man said, if you are offline, if you're not online, you are offline. And that got me thinking. So if you're not following the rest of the crowd to know what's happening on the internet, which is an amazing thing that I keep saying to everyone, I would love to talk to you about internet. Because it's cut away all barriers. There's no more barrier now in the world. You can be in America and talk to people in China. You can be in Nigeria and talk to people in England. You can be anywhere and be communicating with people. That's what curiosity brings on board. So we're gonna end it here today. And I've given you 11 things to look at. There's so many more. But this 11 will help you start thinking right. And what we call it now, this side of our business now, is born to win. All of us, including you, including me, including Rihanna, including Beyonce, including Kelly Rowland, every human being on this earth, 7 billion of us, we were all born to win. That's the DNA in all of us. But what then changes? What differentiates the rich man from the poor man with our $24 a day we have from nature, which is 24 hours, is how we use it. So are we using it through ignorance? Are we using it through fear? Are we using it through lack of investment in ourselves, through laziness, through trying so hard to be like everyone else and fit in the box, through giving up too quickly, through waiting for people to approve of us, through being picky and choosy, through lack of believing in ourselves, through lack of curiosity? If all these things are happening in your life, you find that you're left in a place where you don't want to be. And that's where poverty comes in. So the poverty could push you into lack of health. The poverty could push you into lack of good relationship with your family, where lack of money, where you then find a lack of money then creates more things. I don't have money means I can't give money to my children, so they're not happy with me. I don't have money as a husband. I don't give money to my wife, and she says, that's it, I've had enough, I'm moving on to the next person who can provide for me. I don't have money means I don't give to my sisters or friends. oh, that one, she's always so poor, she's gonna come and ask me for money, so let me not even go near her. I've experienced that, where family members thought, oh yeah, she's so wretched, all she does is ask me for money. Do you want to be that person that people are scared of being near you because you don't have? You don't want that. You want to be in a position where people come to you because you have something they need. They either need knowledge, or they need money, or they need support, and you'll be available to give it to them. So that's the situation we want you to be in. That's why we're here reminding you that you are born to win. And we will be happy for you to take on skills from us, because we have explained to you how useful this skill will be. And when you hide under excuses, nobody wants to hear excuses. I am tired of excuses, because these are the reasons why you have excuses. Oh, we don't have money, we're trying to send our son to school. If you don't have money, how are you going to send your son to school? Because that's exactly what I went through. I could see into the future that my children would need to go to school. And if I didn't invest in me, I would not have been in a position where I could at least provide food for them. So this is what you need to think. Think about the future, don't think about today. If I put $2,000 in buying the training, oh, that takes $2,000 away from my money. Have you thought of what that $2,000 will bring into your life? Because you're gonna be so rich in no time. You're gonna, if you work with 10 people charging $200 per head, you have covered the cost of your $2,000. The rest now is your money. It's a new way of life. It's a new career. And if you focus and stay determined and don't give up, you get to the position where everybody else in this industry are. And you don't need to invest. I've been told over and over by some people making inquiries, $20,000 to go to cosmetology school. And you finish all of that and you still cannot use it. Because the kind of clients you work with are not asking for the things you went to learn in cosmetology school. And you think about this. Everybody doing cosmetology, then where is the uniqueness in you? Where is that little thing, that little DNA that makes you different from the rest? How do you then stand out of the crowd? So these are the things I want you to put at the back of your mind today while you think about all the things we've talked about. So it was really nice having you on today. And as usual, we absolutely love sharing knowledge with you. We love hearing from you. Now, the best thing to do when you want to reach me is email me. Don't just respond on YouTube. You can respond and contribute to the discussion, but email me when you have anything unique you want to chat with me. And then put your contact number. Because we find it's hard for most people to phone us. Everyone claims they don't know how to dial international phone calls. No problem. We can reach most people. And that again shows you how committed we are to your progress. So email us and add your contact number. And then we can call you and chat you through what you're experiencing. So info at worldofbraiding.com is our email address, or joy@worldofbraiding.com is also our email address. And all the contact numbers will be put in the description box below. And everything you want to hear from us, it's all in there. So when you call or when you email, just talk us through what you're experiencing, and we will be more than happy to chat with you. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next edition of Born to Win.